So I think, Abhijit, you started answering that, but I would love to get a picture on the overall skeleton of a playbook. So what goes into it? What are the basics that should definitely be a part of that playbook? Because for people like me who are writing it for the first time, we don't know where to start and what is the skeleton that we should follow.
Yeah, I think it's an end-to-end of the organization's sales process. I would say, from hiring to onboarding or ramping your sales team to executing the whole sales motion to scaling that, right? So there are different aspects of the sales process where the playbook will come handy, and you have to continuously evolve it. You have to get started, right? I mean, it's not something that you'll create overnight, but you need to start articulating it as and when you start seeing success, you start seeing results, that you have a product that is solving a particular pain point for a particular type of buyer persona. It delights a particular user persona in a particular manner, and how you can go about doing a solution discussion with that prospect of yours, how you end up selling that to the buyer, convincing them in the process on how this is going to make things a few times better if they go ahead with you, and then how that can be replicated uh, across the organization, across their user base that they try, and how the impact typically gets delivered. And typically in SaaS, I would say, I mean, people talk about sales funnel all the time. I would tend to think about it a little bit differently. I mean, funnel is great for perpetual sales motions where you have top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, and mid of the funnel in between. But SaaS doesn't stop at bottom of the funnel once you close the customer, right? I mean, your real journey starts when you land the customer, and if you just tilt it horizontally, the whole funnel, and just do a mirror image there and join the two, you'll probably get like a bow tie or a drum. So you have on the right hand side, once you close the sales, you have this whole journey that gets started, where you would implement the customer, you'll then grow into the existing customer, and you start farming that customer, right? So the hunting and farming both becomes very relevant to SaaS. So it's very important to bring that also into consideration. It's a lot more easy to do more with existing customers than getting new customers, and both are important. But I've
Yeah.
seen getting over-indexed on just hunting, and
Yeah.
they lose focus on farming, which
Yeah.
also leads to like retention issues and churn. And it also like it's money on the table. I mean, the opportunities that you would have closed with your existing clients. So having said that, I mean, if you have to start thinking through a playbook of sorts, I think very important for you to like put down this whole process map which I'm talking about, which starts from like a typical lead that falls into your top of the funnel of the hunting process,
Hmm.
whether it's a marketing qualified lead or it's a sales accepted or a sales ready lead, to how it converts into an opportunity, from an opportunity to a discovery call, from a discovery to a solution discussion, solution validation, to like a demo, proposal presentation, to a negotiation, to documentation, to a closure, and from there how you implement, and then how you make your users adopt, and then how from an adoption you get users to be delighted, and then you get into the growth loop of farming, right? So I think you need to define this process map very clearly. I mean, that's very important when you start putting down your playbook. Second thing I would advise everybody to look at is your ACV, or ARR, in many ways that we talk in the SaaS ecosystem, the annual recurring revenue, or the average contract annual contract value. I think that defines your sales process, and it defines your organization, and it's super relevant to SaaS. An organization who is selling deals of 5K or 10K would have a very different sales motion and a sales process versus an organization who basically has a 30 to 50K ACV versus somebody who sells at 100K plus ACV. And you all of them have to adopt a different strategy. So it's very important that you know what's your ACV is like. I mean, by when you're hitting a product market fit, you hit $1 million ARR. I think you tend to know that what's that typical persona of your users, and the buyer profile that you can go after. And this is the typical ACV that you land, and you can probably make it better by 30 to 50% with your product evolution, as well as some of the features, etc., that you'll upgrade, and the value enhancement that you'll do, and the upscale in the pricing. But then your ACV largely get defined, and your process revolves around that. It's very important to also templatize by that time, where you know what's your ideal customer profile. So every organization should be able to put together in their playbook what's my ideal customer profile looking like, whether it's a banking and financial sector B2B sales team, or it is going to be a retail uh, company, or it's going to be an FMCG company, a particular business unit within that. It has to be very clearly defined that, okay, this is your ideal customer profile where you can easily implement. Your deal cycles are lower, the buyer clearly understands the needs, and you're able to like show the delight and impact very quickly. And once you get to this ICP understanding, it's very important that you start doing more of these. I've seen a lot of organizations start spraying at this time because from pressure of growing from a 1 million to 5 or a 1 to 10, you end up like doing more, where you'll expand internationally. At the same time, you'll do multiple industries. And that's where a lot of things can go wrong. It's very important that what's worked and what are those typical ideal customer profiles. You templatize those and you go after those segments, whether in the same country or even if you're going global, you can do that, but do more of that. So that whole ideal customer profiling and template selling is very important. It's also very important that you tend to come to like a business case that you prepare for your client, in terms of what's the ROI you deliver when your solution gets implemented. A lot of SaaS companies miss doing that, or even if they know that, they don't articulate or discuss it with their buyers and their customers that often. So it's very important that you do that in mind. It definitely creates a very significant impact. Whereas a founder, you'll probably be able to do that quite well, but it's not going to be very intuitive to your sales teams. So they need to be really aware about this, and it needs to be part of your playbook on what's the business impact you deliver to your potential buyers. And then there are things around like how do you go about dealing with your competitors? How do you handle those objections? To like what kind of sequences you follow in your sales process, right? I mean, there are a lot of things that I can talk about. The sales metrics,
Yeah.
which we need to start tracking by now. I think it's very important beyond just the bookings. Yeah.
Awesome. Great insights there, Avijit. And again, I'm just learning that as a student. I'm just making my notes as you were speaking, and I'll make sure that I get back to you again, when I have the first draft ready there. And I think a lot of other people might also have questions around it. So if this goes well, we can actually plan another session just around playbooks, because it is, I think, a very, very long topic.